All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. This is Rules, Confirmations, and Public Elections. It is August 20. It is 4:32, and I don't know if anyone signed up for public comment. Can someone check the clipboard outside real quick? Nope. Okay, no one has signed up for public comment. I do have a consent agenda. If anything needs to be pulled from the consent agenda, please let me know. On the consent agenda is RS 2024-647, 679, 680, 681, 682, and that's it. Anything need to be pulled? All right, I will go ahead and read the caption. RS 2024-647 by Porterfield Welsh accepts the terms of a cooperative purchasing master agreement for a computer kiosk with voter registration software and software support for the Davidson County Election Commission. RS 2024-679 by Porterfield Stiles, Evans, Siegel, and others. A resolution congratulating the 5 Nashville-related Olympians for their achievements at the 2024 Summer Olympics in Paris. RS 2024-680 by Huffman, Bradford, Evans, and Gregg. A resolution recognizing the 50th anniversary of the Exchange Club of Donaldson Hermitage. RS 2024-681 by Vo. A resolution recognizing July 18th through August 17, 2024 as South Asian Heritage Month in Nashville and Davidson County. RS 2024-682 by Bradford, Benedict, and Gadd. A resolution recognizing the 14th annual Bianca Page Day. Can I get a motion?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? 4 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. All right, we're on to bills on second reading. The first one is BL 2024-476 by Porterfield, an ordinance to amend Chapter 2.112 of the Metropolitan Code of Law regarding the membership of the Metropolitan Nashville Arts Commission and the process for approving the criteria for awarding funds. Can I get a motion?
So moved. Second.
And I know this was deferred in budget for one meeting, so I'm gonna move to defer this one meeting. Can I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? 4 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting for a one meeting deferral. All right, next is BL 2024-477 by Evans and Rutherford, an ordinance to amend section 2.222.040 regarding actions of the Board of Ethical Conduct. Can I get a motion?
So moved. Second.
All right, Councilmember Evans, you are recognized.
Thank you, Chair. So basically, recently we had a colleague who had been referred to the Board of Ethical Conduct because she had someone file a complaint against her. And during that conversation, it became very apparent that the board didn't really have a lot of clarity on when somebody meets the threshold where there's a violation, what the remedy looks like. And so this resolution or bill offers to modify that section of the code to allow for other alternatives to what was previously included and give that board some flexibility because the remedies were, censure them, ask them to resign, that kind of thing. And it didn't give anything that was lower level based on the severity of the situation. And I have an amendment that provides some additional clarification that will, offer some, how to communicate that information to the vice mayor, the council, that kind of thing.
Okay, let's move the amendment. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
All right, do you have any further clarification on the amendment?
Yeah, so the amendment, this is coming from Metro, the attorney, Metro Legal's attorney, who is over or works with the Board of Ethical Conduct. And so the clarification provides the opportunity to issue a written warning, so not just a warning, it adds the written definition or explanation in there, and then offering a copy being sent to the vice mayor if things are appropriate. So it's not mandating action, it's just saying, hey, if it falls under their requirements, make sure that you're communicating about it, and here's how you can do it.
Thank you. Any discussion on the amendment? All right, can I get a motion?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? 4 in favor, 0 against, 0 not 0 against, 0 not voting on the amendment. We are now on the bill as amended. Councilmember Allen.
I will wait till after committee members. I just
Okay.
didn't want you to rush through and vote
Yeah.
before I got handouts.
Any questions or comments from the committee members on the legislation as amended? All right, Councilmember Allen.
So just one question. My understanding is, as it's currently written before this bill passes, the remedies are to have the council do these things, to do the censure or the whatever they call for resignation. And that is a public thing that happens. So I guess my question is, as we move to this, would that portion of the Board of Ethical Conduct meeting be a publicly recorded meeting so that it still sort of has somewhat of the same public-facing information, but maybe at a lower level?
It's still recorded today, and so I don't know if Director Darby wants to speak to any of their practices beyond that. That's how I watched it, was recording.
I'm not aware of it, of the recording changing,
Okay.
of those requirements changing.
It seems like, even that if there is a censure, it needs to be something that the public can know about. And so I just want to ensure that by moving it from being a council censure to the Board of Ethical Conduct, that it's still something that the public, if they were interested, could know about.
Yeah, and can you, I'm trying to remember from last term, like, didn't we do a resolution?
Yeah, and I don't think this doesn't replace the recommendation for the council to censure a member. It adds kind of a lower level
There.
of censure, so that it's the public, the written warning to the violating member. So it's in addition to, it's not to replace that censure. So if the board were to recommend censure, and we did have one last term, then that censure would still go through the normal process, which is to come to the Rules Committee first and then go to the floor.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks for that.
Did that answer your question? I do remember watching this specific committee and then trying to figure out, well, it doesn't raise to this level, but this is the only option we have. And so I do think this is a great addition and change.
And I will say, we did, as part of this process, we did take it to Austin Kyle for him to review as well, since he was present in the meeting and is a part of that board.
All right, any other comments, questions? All right, can I get a motion?
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? 4 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting, as amended. All right, we are now on to Board and Commission appointees and nominees. Candidates in this category will appear before the Rules and Confirmation and Public Elections Committee to determine the relative qualification of the candidates. So all of those being interviewed today, we will not be voting on you as a whole during the council meeting. We'll just be giving the recommendation for re-referral here. So you can choose to come to the next committee meeting where we would recognize you if you were approved. You are not required to come, but you can come, and we will clap for you if you come. All right.
Clap loud.
Yeah, we'll clap loudly, and sometimes we'll stand too. It's great. All right. So first one up is, let me see. It is Arts Commission appointment of Gila Khalil. Did I pronounce that right? Gila Khalil. Okay. For a term expiring on January 1st, 2027. Would you like to come and sit right here in the middle? Would you like a parking validation or a bus pass?
Parking validation?
All right, right here.
Oh, really in the middle?
Yeah.
Wow, the hot seat. Okay.
All right. Do you currently live in Davidson County?
Yes.
Do you serve on any other metro boards and commissions?
No.
All right. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're interested in serving?
I've lived here since 1986. I have a Bachelor of Fine Arts degree with a major in photography and a minor in painting. I have been in the Williamson County School District for a number of years, so an educator. I'm a firm believer in arts in cities and would love to see what's happening with the Arts Commission and doing more for arts in Nashville. which has changed greatly since I first moved here in 1986. And I think that's why I'd like to be on it. I'd like to do something more for the city I'm living in,
Good.
and this is something I'm very committed to,
Great.
arts and education.
Well, thank you for your willingness to serve. A couple of questions to begin off.
Yeah.
Will you commit to promoting equity while serving on the board?
Yes,
Can you meet the time requirement?
yes.
Okay. There has been a lot of chaos with the Arts Commission in the past couple of years. So wanting to make sure that everyone who is coming before us, being recommended, knows what they're getting themselves into. We have had, turmoil with previous executive directors and commissioners themselves. We're trying to move forward at the moment. We recently had resignations from a number of staffers as well. So you are coming into a hot seat. We want as much help as we possibly can give, but we want to make sure that everyone knows what their...
This is work.
Yes.
Yes. I don't know everything, which I'm kind of glad about. I know that there has been a lot going on. I've done some reading, but I'd like to see the Arts Commission be functioning and be a part of helping to make that happen.
Great.
So,
We do have an interim director right now. The board itself is in charge of hiring the executive director and the accountability aspect of that. As we move through hiring an executive director, how comfortable do you feel being in that position? You hire, fire. The board hires and fires and keeps accountability.
fine.
All right, questions from, all right, Councilmember Evans.
Thank you. I was just going to ask, kind of piggybacking off Council Chair Sepulveda's question, as far as comfort level, have you had experience hiring and firing people in your career? Okay, all
I
right.
ran a nonprofit that I started myself for 10 years in Nashville. So there was a lot of moving forward and moving backwards with staff.
Okay. And then have you watched any of the recordings of the meetings?
No,
Okay.
I was waiting until this moment
Okay.
to. I've done reading, but I have not watched anything.
Thank you.
Councilmember Prepty.
Yeah, that was going to be one of my questions, was if you've watched any of the meetings, because I think that you're right. It is helpful to come to a new institution with a fresh perspective and with a goal of moving forward. But I think that there's a high level of conflict and issues that you'll have to navigate and sort of meet that learning curve, because though like your resume speaks for itself, you won't necessarily be operating in a vacuum of just having been appointed. There's
Right.
a lot of history.
Right.
And so I would encourage you, like, if you have some time, just going back and watching some of the
I was
commission
planning
meetings.
to, but not until this point. I didn't
Exactly.
want it to be part of whether I wanted to be on the board, so I've done reading but not watching to help make that for my decision that I wanted to move forward and not just watching the meetings.
I completely understand that. It's, yeah, don't want to taint your experience prematurely. So, yeah, that you already answered my question. Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Do I have other questions from committee members? Councilmember Benedict, I know you wanted to speak in favor of the nominee today, so I will give you the floor.
Thank you, Chair Sepulveda, and to the committee. Ms. Khalil and I have known each other for a number of years due to her active involvement with the district, and she lives in District 7 and has gone through the vetting process through the mayor's office, of course, and she's here. She is studious, she is passionate, she is able to do the work. She has done a lot of research, so I'm not sure if that came through well or not, although I know she hasn't watched the meetings based on her testimony today. She has spent a lot of time talking with me and understanding the landscape so that she knows what she's walking into. So I'm comfortable with her ability to manage through the challenges that we've seen with the commission. Certainly her extensive experience through which she just explained is important. One thing that I want to call out, and I think that this committee has been very focused on, is the diversity of our boards, and that includes geographic diversity. District 7 is severely underrepresented in our boards and commissions throughout the city. I think we rank in the bottom third as far as number of members of boards and commissions that we have. So I think as we look at, is the west side, where most of our boards and commission members
The answer
coming
is
from,
yes.
are we looking at other areas of the city? And so I would ask that, I think that she is a fantastic candidate that I'm bringing forward from, and that the mayor is bringing forward from another area of the city that's underrepresented. So with that, I ask for your approval, and certainly I'm glad to answer any questions that you may have about my engagement with her. She is passionate about the arts, and one thing she told me the other day that I think is really important is that she wants Nashville to be known for our arts, not necessarily Broadway. So.
Thank you, Councilmember Benedict. Any other comments, questions? All right, can I get a motion?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? 5 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. Thank you so much. And Councilmember Cortez, welcome back and congratulations on the new baby.
Thank you.
All right, we are going to move Mr. Knight to the heel. He is currently on his way. So we will skip over that for the moment. Up next is the Auditorium Commission, consideration of a nominee to fill one vacancy with the term expiring on June 30, 2027. And this is for Jerry Pentecost. Is Mr. Pentecost here?
I'm sorry.
Yes, Councilmember
Sorry,
Allen.
So Mr. Pentecost is very eager to do this, but has managed to have business meetings the 2 times that he has needed to come here for his interview. And so I've talked about what the schedule is or will be, and spoke to Ms. Darby about the possibility of a deferral, but since this is an elected position, we can't do that. And so I intend to nominate him yet again, in hopes that he'll finally land on a day when he doesn't have it out of town.
So he is being withdrawn to
Withdrawn
renominate.
for now, but it's not for lack of interest in the process, it's just coincidentally been 2 different conflicts.
Thank you, Councilmember. So Mr. Pentecost is withdrawn for, and to be renominated by Councilmember Allen.
We'll have to have the notice go out again and there you go.
Thank you so much. All right, up next is Farmers Market Board appointment of Patricia Tarquino for a term expiring on July 5th, 2029. Ms. Tarquino, would you like a bus pass or parking validation?
The parking validation? Do you need my parking?
No, you just take this.
Great.
To them.
Great.
All right, do you currently live in Davidson County?
I do. I live in Antioch.
All right, do you serve on any other metro boards and commissions?
I do not.
Okay, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're interested in serving?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. I am the Director of Community Agriculture for the Nashville Food Project. I'm a former vendor at the Nashville Farmers Market. I sold honey for about a year with Tennessee Artisan Honey. I'm interested in urban agriculture and finding new ways to get people to think about local foods and how to grow them and access them here in Nashville.
Great. All right, will you commit to promoting equity while serving on the board?
Absolutely.
All right, and I spoke to some vendors, and some of the complaints they have had thus far is that many of the board members don't show up for the meetings or are late. Will you be able to commit to the time schedule?
Absolutely.
Okay. Questions from committee members? Councilmember Evans.
Since you're a former vendor, what are some of the things that you, now that you'll be in a position to help kind of steer and navigate, that you think you'd like to take a stab at making positive change?
Yeah, absolutely. Making a space for local farmers to be able to vend at the Nashville Farmers Market. The Nashville Farmers Market has a long history of being here, and it's a staple to this economy and also what draws people in. just facilitating that process of actually having local farmers be able to sell their produce. Being able to, what I heard being a vendor is that the focus of the market has changed and shifted more towards tourism rather than serving the local community. And although the local community downtown has changed, we still have lots of folks that can benefit from accessing local foods. And so working on that would be beneficial.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I had nothing, that was just good answer.
Okay,
So.
Councilmember Prepti.
So one of the things that I think, that I want to get your take on as a former vendor is the capacity of vendors to accept SNAP and EBT as forms of payment. What's one of the barriers that vendors are experiencing in being able to accept that as a form of payment?
I think that every vendor has to opt into the program. It's not something that the whole farmers market has agreed to do. And so each vendor, has to negotiate its own payment. And I think it's some education on the vendor's part that need to understand the program, but also the leadership from the farmers market, to make sure that every vendor, gets on board with that.
And would you commit to trying to push that to their...
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So also I'm on the board of directors of Cosecha Community Development, which is a Latino-led organization out of Nolensville Pike, and that's one of the things that we are doing is making sure that at our pop-up markets that we have access to taking SNAP benefits at every market.
Great.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Absolutely.
So in the past, I think, was it early on in this term or at the end of last term, there were some concerns from the vendors where, the hours that they were working, the hours that they were required to be open. It was a big concern, and there was some negotiating on behalf of the administration, the district council member, and all of that. So I'm glad that you have previous experience from being a vendor. Like I said, I was talking to some of the vendors at the farmers market when I went the other day, and the concern that they're not being heard is a big concern. The concern that board members don't necessarily know what's going on. So we have to make sure that we have an advocate in there. So I do appreciate your willingness to step up and to lead that education piece of it. And not just for that, but also for minority people to be more bought into the farmers market and to participate at higher levels. I think it's very important.
Yeah, I think I think there are ways that the farmers market can make it accessible for community people to have a place and a reason to come to the farmers market, to access affordable food that's grown locally, that's good for them, but also as a welcoming place for workshops, for events. Markets are a gathering place for a community, so
Yeah.
there's a lot of potential.
I guess the last thing I would encourage as more vendors are brought into the farmers market and as we do more outreach with local farmers, the worker component of it is very important to me, and making sure that the people working on these farms aren't being exploited and that heat breaks are being given and basic things like water. So just something to keep in mind as more people start to participate.
Absolutely.
All right. Any other questions, comments, concerns? All right. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? 5 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Up next is the Hospital Authority Board appointment of Daniel Esquivel, for a term expiring on July 11, 2029. And you know what? these past couple of times I keep messing up people's names, and I'm like, why am I doing that? And
Oh.
I did it to you.
Right,
So I
Esquivel.
apologize.
Also, for the record, my name is David Esquivel. I think the resolution has me as Daniel, but my name is, my first name is David.
This is what happened at the last one too.
That's an important number.
Well, I
I was
mean,
like-
I don't have any
I know.
kind
I was
of
like, David's
issue
just
of-
been going by David when his real
Yes.
name is Daniel. I'm like, is this an inside joke?
I've been going by David for a long time. I was surprised, well, I
We're
did some
rebranding.
research before the meeting. Hoped it was me that was.
Yeah. I was like, he's playing games with us now. Okay, would you like a bus pass or parking validation?
Parking validation,
Okay.
please. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Do you currently live in Davidson County?
Yes, I do.
Do you serve on any other metro boards and commissions?
I do not.
All right, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're interested in serving?
Thank you. I'm happy to, and have actually prepared some remarks to that effect, so I appreciate the opportunity. I want to start by thanking the mayor for this nomination and thanking the council and this committee for considering me for this appointment. Nashville General Hospital has been serving the community for more than 100 years, and I would be honored to join the board and support the role it has played and continues to play in providing for the healthcare needs of our city. My interest in this position springs from my passion for healthcare equity, which was formed in large part during 8 years of service on the board of directors of the Tennessee Justice Center, which has been a strong advocate for Tennessee families who go without adequate health care. Getting to learn from Gordon Bonnyman, Michelle Johnson, and the rest of the TJC staff made me appreciate the need for all Tennesseans and Nashvillians to have access to health care. I think I can be a helpful and productive member of this board based on my experience in nonprofit governance more generally. I've served as the chair of the boards of directors for local nonprofits with a variety of sizes and missions, including the Tennessee Justice Center, Conexión Americas, the Nashville Public Library Foundation, the Maddox Fund, the Nashville Hispanic Bar Association, and the Tennessee Immigrant and Refugee Rights Coalition. In my day job, I am a practicing lawyer at Bass, Berry & Sims Law Firm, where many of my clients have been hospitals, healthcare providers, and healthcare payers. And from that work, I've gained valuable insight into healthcare operations, particularly healthcare reimbursement and healthcare finance. On a personal level, I'm interested in board service because as a child of immigrants, I am indebted to my community and want to give back. When my great-grandparents came to the United States with their children and grandchildren, they were already retirees. And though they had not worked a day of their lives in this country, when they became U.S. citizens, they received their health care through Medicare. My family arrived here from Cuba with nothing but a suitcase of clothes, and this country's hospitality enabled us to thrive. So I try to be living proof that this country's care for immigrants is an investment that can pay dividends for generations. My vision for Metro General Hospital is that it become the nationwide leader for innovation and performance of a public hospital system, in keeping with Nashville's reputation as the healthcare capital of the United States. Thank you for considering me to serve on the board of the Metro Hospital Authority, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Great, thank you so much. 2 questions to start off with. Will you commit to promoting equity while serving on the board?
Yes, I will.
Can you make the time commitment?
Yes, I will.
All right, we'll start off with Councilmember Druffel.
Have you been to a board meeting or have you been in, observed any of the meetings?
I have not.
Okay. Have you had a chance to be involved in, you've sort of outlined some of the areas you were involved in, but have you been involved in, I guess, the healthcare at General Hospital in any unique way?
Not specific to the General Hospital that I can recall. During my time of service on the Tennessee Justice Center Board, it would not surprise me that there was some interaction or things that TJC was doing that was working in partnership with the Metro General Hospital, but I can't recall specifically.
Good. You have a great amount of experience. Thanks for your interest, though.
Thank you very much.
All right, Councilmember Prepty.
I just wanted to say, known David for a little while now professionally, seeing his work and his ability to not only understand health equity, but understand social determinants of health and how we have to approach everything from a health and all policies perspective. And specifically a lot of the work that we've done as it relates to homelessness and the work that David has done professionally, separate and apart from our working relationship on homelessness and really looking at that from a public health lens, and which again goes back to those social determinants of health. I think that he will be truly an invaluable resource on this board, and I would be saying that even if he wasn't a proud District 25 resident.
I am a proud District 25 resident, and before I moved into that district, I was a member of Councilmember Druffel's district. So
We lost you.
I really very much enjoyed living in Westmead and have moved, but appreciate seeing both of you.
But yes, David gets my glowing recommendation.
All right, other questions from committee members? Okay, so, and I guess I'll speak more to this towards the end of our meeting. We have a working group made up of various people from departments and volunteers, community members, to look at all boards and commissions. We sent out a survey and got the responses back from the hospital authority, and some concerns and some things that need to be changed. And so if you are approved by the council as a whole, some of the concerns are just more transparency, more direction. Metro General Hospital is a great institute, and so being able to have someone there with some experience working with nonprofits, I think would be beneficial with the board, and your experience certainly would help with that. We also want to make sure that as we begin to see more new arrivals come into the city, which we are seeing quite a bit of, that we have someone there that could help advocate and knows people that come from that community and has a background in it. Because as we begin to have more arrivals, we begin to see more of them who are living on the streets or who are being turned out of their homes. Maybe there was someone from their family or a friend that was able to take them in for some time, but some of them are being turned out and they have nowhere to go. And a lot of them are needing medical attention. So if we could just have an advocate who's willing to highlight that and to, have Metro General Hospital, National General Hospital be a resource, I think that would be a great opportunity.
I would echo that. I mean, and I would intend to do that if I'm asked to serve on the board. New arrivals to Nashville and the immigrant community has been a passion of mine, and advocacy and other things for a long time. So that would be front of mind for me as a board member on the hospital authority, and certainly an important role of the hospital authority of Metro General Hospital is as a safety net where to fill gaps, and there's I understand a significant issue where that safety net is important, and I would hope and expect that would be a key part of the hospital's mission. But I really, if I'm asked to serve, would be eager to get to know what the hospital is doing and who is serving currently and how it can address unmet needs in the community.
Great. All right, any other questions, comments?
Well, now that it's not in District 23, I'm not too sure.
I should have stayed quiet before. All right, maybe I'll move back. Hold up the possibility of moving back.
All right, can I get a motion?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? 5 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. Thank you so much.
Thanks for your
Thank you very much.
All right, we are going to go back, because I believe Mr. Knight is here. All right. For the Arts Commission appointment of Sean Knight for a term expiring on January 1st, 2027. Mr. Knight, would you like a parking validation or a bus pass?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Do you currently live in Davidson County?
I do?
Do you serve on any other metro boards and commissions?
No.
All right, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're interested in serving?
Sure. I teach theater at Belmont University. I have been a theater artist since 2005 professionally as a director, an actor, and a playwright. I work with all age groups from pre-K all the way up to professionals, having directed professionally at local theaters as well. I am a strong believer in the value of the arts. When my first professional internship gig when I was in Louisville was with Kentucky Shakespeare Festival. And that festival works with a company they created a program called Shakespeare Behind Bars. And Shakespeare Behind Bars went into the Luther Luckett Correctional Facility, which was one of the most maximum security prisons in Kentucky, and did Shakespeare with those prisoners. And a lot of people sort of looked down upon that idea, thinking, do they deserve to do the arts? But the reality was that the recidivism rate for that particular prison is about 70%. If they'd gone through Shakespeare Behind Bars, it dropped to 7. And that's a statistic that has continued. So seeing that work and the value of arts in the community in many, many different ways, seeing it give voice to many of my students, I find that very valuable. And I know that there have been some challenges with the Metro Arts Council over the last few years. I'm not connected with those, and I'm excited to help move that council past that moment and start being able to do the work it needs to do in the community again.
Great, thank you so much. Will you commit to promoting equity while serving on the board?
Absolutely. When I was in grad school, I started and just finished last year my certificate in African American theater because I recognized that, white guy, it's hard to represent all my students. And at Belmont, we don't have the most diverse population, but it's important to me that the students who are there can see themselves on stage, can create their art on stage, and it's important that they have people to look up to and to work with once they graduate. So that's a very significant part of the work that I pursue in theater.
And can you make the time requirement?
Absolutely.
Okay. Councilmember Drummond.
Yeah, I'm just curious, I mean, that's an incredible result in Kentucky, Shakespeare Behind Bars. Can you account for why that supported such a great result?
That's a great question. I don't know that I have all the facts behind it, but there is a documentary out there, Shakespeare Behind Bars, you can see, and the person who started that has now moved to Michigan and started a program there. My experience with it, this is how I would answer that question. Some of those prisoners in the roles of Shakespeare characters committed crimes similar to what they committed in the real world. And then they had to watch the other characters face it. They had to deal with it in a way that was different than they were dealing with it in prison. They had to see it from a different angle. And I know the gentleman who ran this program, he was not going to let them off with yeah, it was bad. So there was a lot of them having to face what they did, see all the consequences of that, and then start to learn some of that empathy that theater can engender.
About how many people were in that area?
So the year that I was involved, there were about 20 people. They did a production of Hamlet.
Okay.
And there were about 20 people in the production. And so they had to sort of recommit every year, so the number would fluctuate.
Sure.
But it was around 20.
Thanks, very interesting. Yeah.
All right. Other questions? All right. I do appreciate your work with that program, having close family members who were incarcerated. I know that it's important to have an outlet, to have reform, and to have them, feel human and come back and be a productive member of society. So thank you for your willingness to do that type of work. All right. Other questions, comments, concern? All right. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? 4 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. We are back, and we are now on Social Services Commission appointment of Charlene. Yes, and one meeting deferral. We already deferred her, or we haven't yet? No, we haven't. Can I get a motion for a one meeting deferral?
So
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? 4 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. All right, next is the Tourism and Convention Commission appointment of Dr. Sybil Brown for a term expiring on June 30, 2026. Dr. Brown, would you like a parking validation or a
Yes.
bus pass?
Parking, please.
All right, here you go.
Thank you.
Do you currently live in Davidson County?
I do.
Do you serve on any other metro boards and commissions?
I do not.
All right, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're interested in serving?
I have been in the Middle Tennessee area for 30 years. Most of those years have been in Sumner County. So I crossed the Davidson County line, which means now I'm ripe for service here. I'm a 22-year professor at Belmont University, former television news reporter. So in that capacity, I covered board meetings, but I haven't sat in on one. I just finished service on the National Association of Black Journalists board. I just finished that about 2 weeks ago. I've served on the TEDx Nashville board. I've served on the YMCA Black Achievers board. So tourism is my passion. I'm always investigating tourism in some way, whether that was us investigating cities for the convention, whether that's me traveling on my own. I'm a Sagittarian, so fire moves quickly. And it's just a passion. And so I would love to serve in this capacity. For years, I worked very closely with Butch Speridan because that's one of the areas I covered as a reporter. So I used to work with Connie Kennard as well, and of course, Maria.
Great. Will you commit to promoting equity while serving on the board?
Absolutely.
Will you be able to meet the time requirement?
I pray I can.
All right,
I'm like, I hope, do they have Zoom meetings ever? But yes, I should be fine.
they're all in person, yes.
I'll make it happen, Captain.
All right, Councilmember Druffel.
Yeah, question, I was in the hotel business for 100 years. What I've seen is as we've grown, and it's been fantastic, but also the safety from this growth is starting to get a little concerning. Any thoughts on what we need to do to provide a better safety net for the people coming in?
Possibly looking at other cities, how they're managing. For example, if you look at Austin, Texas, it's similar to us.
Yeah.
New Orleans is similar. Portland, Oregon, the assistant did some research. Portland, Oregon is similar.
I
So.
didn't give you this question before you came, right?
Right. So I think we can look to them for some safety issues. Some of it is common sense, obviously, but beyond that, we can also utilize artificial intelligence in different ways. So that and that's my passion too, artificial intelligence. So that's what I would try to help bring that component.
Okay.
So I think between AI, between doing additional research, additional messaging through the airport. So as soon as people come into the Nashville airport, they're greeted with everything that's wonderful because it's a beautiful airport. But also then they would be greeted with these messages that, say, hey, you need to treat this like a major city. We're not as big as Chicago, but you need to understand dynamics have changed and anything can happen anywhere.
Good. Good answer. Thanks.
Great, any other questions, comments? Councilmember Cortez.
Can I say something?
Yeah, you are recognized.
Thank you. I'm Dr. Brown. Dr. Sibb, as your students know, is a fellow colleague of mine at Belmont. I actually had the pleasure of studying under Dr. Brown as well. And I just want to say, when I saw her name on the agenda, I was absolutely thrilled. I've never seen somebody be able to take this willingness to walk into a room and try to learn everybody's story and have the skill to make that happen. And the work she does with her students is absolutely phenomenal. And she brings a perspective that tries to really see what other people are going through. And I'm absolutely a better professor for studying under her and a better leader. And her ability to think outside the box and see problems coming down the pike in the future, unmatched. So I just want to say it was an absolute pleasure studying under you, and I'm thrilled, and I hope the city gets to bear that benefit as well.
So she passed you, huh?
She did.
Don't make me cry, buddy.
I'm like, let me sign up for some
And it's
class.
supposed to be allergies about it. My voice has been gone for like 3 weeks.
Oh,
They say
okay.
it's not flu, not COVID, not strep, thank God.
It's allergies.
It's,
It's allergies, okay.
I get it. All right, any other questions, comments?
And thank you to Kathy and thank you to Mayor O'Connell as well.
Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? 4 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Dr. Brown.
Thank you. And we'll be notified when we need to be wherever. We'll get an email.
All right,
finished.
Next is the Tourism and Convention Commission appointment of Derek Free for a term expiring on June 30, 2027. Mr. Free, thank you so much for being here. Would you like a parking validation or a bus pass?
Parking validation, please.
All right,
Thank you, Chair.
here we go. Do you currently live in Davidson County?
Yes, Chair. I'm a resident of District 4, being well represented by Councilman Cortez.
Ah, okay. Do you serve on any other Metro boards and commissions?
I do not.
All right, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're interested in serving?
Sure, thanks. I moved to Nashville in 1994 to come to Lipscomb University, probably to be the other side of Dr. Brown, maybe the Lipscomb-Belmont thing. We have some good competition there. Lived in Nashville since 94, with the exception of 3 years. Went to law school in Knoxville. Served as general counsel, executive vice president for Gray Line of Tennessee. We're a passenger transportation company. I do a lot of work with the convention center, with most of the hotels here in town. In the tourism industry, we also have a sightseeing division, so very engaged in tourism in town and safety downtown and traffic downtown. And so this is just a committee that I'm very interested in, very engaged in, and Nashville's been very, very good to me over these last 25 years, and so it's an opportunity I hope to give back.
Great, thank you so much. Will you commit to promoting equity while serving on the board?
Absolutely,
Will you be able to make the time requirement?
I will.
All right, questions?
Just a comment, I've known Mr. Derek Free for, I don't know, a lot of years. Anyhow, I just want to comment, he's been a great community advocate and leader, so my hat's off to you for everything you've done. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman.
All right, other questions, comments? Councilmember Cortez, you are recognized.
There are two different appointments.
Yeah.
Let me speak. I just want to say, Mr. Free reached out to me when I was elected into the seat, and we had some really productive, fantastic conversations. And what I really appreciated about it was the tone was always, I have all this knowledge, all this experience, and if I can help the city. And it was really a tone of giving back. And when we're filling so many seats on these boards and commissions, when we have somebody who is so excited about the future of the city for their family, and for those in their community, that's really important to me. I know, like, we all pick up different things from conversation, and the way Mr. Free talked about his family in our conversation was just very moving to me, and I've just really appreciated you reaching out and your willingness to give back on that level, so thank you.
Thank you, Councilman.
Great. All right, any other questions, comments? All right, can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? 4 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. Thank you so much.
Thank you all very much.
All right, I have a consent agenda. Don't go away,
No, I was just saying
Councilmember. All right, I have a consent agenda for board and commissions confirmations. If anyone needs to be pulled, please let me know. So on consent is Christy Pruitt-Hayes for the Benefit Board, Clifton Harris for the Electric Power Board, R.E. Nettles for the Hospital Authority.
Chair?
No, that one needs to be deferred one meeting, so that one is off consent. I'll come back to that one. Short-Term Rental Appeals Board appointment of Julie Caputo. We're pulling that from consent. Sports Authority Board appointment of Victoria Crawford. And Sports Authority Board appointment of Russell Pulley. So again.
Pull that for consent, but I'm not going to.
The public's gonna think that you don't like it. Okay, so again, those on consent are Christy Pruitt-Hayes, Clifton Harris, Dr. R.E. Nettles. No, not that one. Victoria Crawford and Russell Pulley. All right, anything else need to be pulled? Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? 4 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. Let me just go back. All right, now going back to the last two. Dr. R.E. Nettles needs to be deferred one meeting. Can I get a motion?
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? 4 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting for 1 meeting deferral. All right. Next is short-term rental appeals board appointment of Julie Caputo for a term expiring on August 10, 2028. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any not voting? All right. 3 in favor, 0 against, 1 not voting. That concludes our agenda. Just as a final note to committee members, the working group, I will be serving on that. I'm not entirely sure what the vice mayor intends to do as far as chair appointees, but I will still be serving on the working group. I do have some updates just as where we're at, and I had made a commitment to the committee that I would update you all on that. So I am trying to figure out if it is best to do like a blog post on it so everyone could go back and look at it, or if an announcement during the beginning of the meeting suffices. So any feedback would be great on that. But other than that, that concludes rules and confirmations. Thank you.
Thank you.